I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Welcome, one and all, to the Plebian Racing League Twitch channel. My name is Alex, and I am so excited to be able to join you for the 4th week of racing here. After a few different weeks, wasn't on the track personally. Racing League, of course, went ahead without me with no problems, believe it or not. But I am here now, excited to be able to join you on this journey. We're just a few minutes away from the qualifiers there. Things getting set up, just finished free practice, but for those of you who haven't had the chance to check out the races thus far, be a part of them, I'm just going to give you the top 3 in points here according to the website. We've got Kurt, Matthias, Andreas. So that's our top 3 to watch out for as we wait for qualifying to begin. And we are just moments away from getting into this race in sunny Wisconsin today. And we are going to be able to see some good Audi racing here on the track today. So no doubt an exciting race ahead of us here. And as we can start to see things happening, getting ourselves all set up, I'm sure we're just moments away. Our qualifying, in our practice laps here, we had Kevin Woodward coming in, doing the best time by a thousandth of a second. So things are undoubtedly close here, and I'm sure we have an incredible race here as we flip through our participants. Take a look at our track for the day. Got a fairly small field this evening, it looks like. 15 drivers on the track, and of course, the mobile broadcast center not to be forgotten, but of course not to be leaving the pits either. So we will be dutifully ignoring that truck all night, and for the rest of it, be watching our participants. So here we go. Qualifying is going to get started here. Our first drivers leaving the track, as take a look at what we have going on early on here. On board here with Hangman. And our first driver out of the pits was Jean-Luc Marchand. So keep an eye on him, see what these first lap times come through here. Everybody going out on their first few runs, trying to break things in, get themselves some practice. If they didn't get enough in the first qualifying, or in the first free practice, I should say. See if we can find anything of interest here, as Tom Shirley there spun off a little bit, but it's no harm here in qualifying. Gonna right himself and back on the track. Jean-Luc Marchand getting a feel for things. The two racers yet to leave the pit, so we'll see them in just a moment. And yes, I can see the chat, so I'll be keeping an eye on everything going on in the chat room today. If we have any chatters, hello to the chatters. And sticking along with Jean-Luc Marchand here, we will see as he will probably come in first. Looks like Tom Shirley once again off on the track, so we'll leave him to his business. Won't give him too much judgment there. That's very early on. And everyone looking good so far beyond that. Checking out our... Okay, yeah, that's a cool tool there, Dan. Thank you very much for that. Definitely going to keep my eye on that one. The qualifying lap times there, extremely useful. So, let me see here if I can get the proper setup on the timers here. But if not, we always have... This one, Jean-Luc Marchand, looks like qualifying at, setting the first lap time, 2:21.424. So that'll be the one to keep an eye on, as I think our external racing website there might have a little bit more information than the current interface. Doesn't seem to want to load up the times here. Let's see if I can get them in any way, but might not be the case, so we'll leave it to that. Keep an eye on things externally, all more or less the same. So just to keep an update on things, as said, Jean-Luc Marchand currently with the best lap of the evening. And Matthias Noli not far behind him, or excuse me, 8 seconds behind him. Hangman following after him with a 2-second gap between those two. So it is, as mentioned, Jean-Luc Marchand to keep an eye on here, and we are aboard with him again right now. But we also will check in on our other drivers here. We've got Little Pack, Hangman, currently holding the third best time in the qualifiers, halfway through now, so it'll be a tight race to make sure to keep you updated as we get towards the final few minutes. And Matheus Noli just came in to set. There we are. We have our times coming through. So as you can see, Matheus Noli 3/10 behind Jean-Luc Marchand now. So about 2 more laps in him to try and make up that time. And we'll have to see if he can do it. And it is James Leader now that we'll go check out as he begins on his 3rd lap of the night. Currently holding the 3rd position. But a second behind the leader. Absolutely room to make up some time here. So see if he can do it. Sticking tight to the track. And Kevin Woodward, who we saw feeling good in our free practice earlier, got some great lap times in, making his way into P3, so he's someone to keep an eye on in the night's race. Currently, I believe, in 6th position on the overall weeks. Kevin Woodward is sitting at 10th now behind Matheus Noli. So he, too, will be one to watch as we approach our last 4 minutes of the qualifier. And just waiting on Tom Shirley to record a lap, and I think everyone else has one in. Looking like a good field here tonight as we are looking at the 4th to 8th seeds all within just a few tenths of each other, so it'll no doubt be a tight race. It's Matheus Noli now looking to make up the time against Jean-Luc Marchand. As you can see, only 0.2 of a second behind him. And looking to change that. Not quite, though, as that is going to put him, just under a 10th behind on that lap. He'll have time for one more, assuming Jean-Luc Marchand is not himself setting a new lap time. Matheus Noli is going to handily keep the 2nd spot, as it's Andreas Speck that has now moved himself into the 3rd position. So qualifiers have had some decent action here. Jean-Luc Marchand possibly be on his 2nd to last lap, having to set a new time. He is not able to stay anywhere comfortable with Matheus Noli right on his tail. It'll surely be a tight race for P1 here as we switch between our 2 drivers and try and keep an eye on how they're both doing. And just looking at our 2 deltas here, Jean-Luc Marchand is currently on pace to beat his lap time, but so too is Matheus Noli. So both of these drivers are going to have to maintain frame perfection here if they wish to secure the coveted P1 spot at the end of today's qualifiers. Both of their deltas around 0.3 to 0.5 seconds. Jean-Luc Marchand currently a little behind in the delta, meaning if Matheus Noli can keep up his pace at a half second at the moment, it looks like, then he should be able to take over here. Jean-Luc Marchand going to set a lower time, and Matheus Noli, though, going to set a 2:09, and that is going to catapult him into 1st place. And Andreas actually managing to work his way into 2nd. So, heard the slacking comment and moved his way up a little bit. Got himself into 2nd place. Jean-Luc Marchand, despite a good lap time, unable to hold on to that 1st spot. And it's going to be Matheus Noli with the chance, once again, to try and get himself an even better time because, of course, Andreas is not far behind him. You can see it there. Both these drivers could possibly get themselves the first spot. It all comes down to this last lap as the qualifying is going to run out. So whatever they said here is their time that they are going to get. Whatever position they can secure is what they are going to get. Jean-Luc Marchand cannot finish higher than 4th place at the moment, but he's got some drivers behind him that could possibly overtake him. Tom Shirley and Jordan White both looking to do so. Take a peek at Tom Shirley here and see if he can take some lap times down. Just looking at his delta, 0.5 seconds, which would, I believe it would quite put him ahead of a Jean-Luc Marchand, so we'll see if he can shave off any more time. For our first two competitors, Specht and Noli, both putting up faster times, and both just neck and neck on this one. We'll go back to times here, and you can see things are very close. I believe Specht's delta would put him in first if if Matheus Noli is unable to get a faster time. But Matheus Noli is there in the finish line. He's set his time, so that'll be locked in. Andreas Specht looking to move up. Not going to be able to do it. That is going to set him in the 2nd spot. So Matheus Noli maintains his spot. And Kevin Woodward here looking to finish things off. See what he can do. He's on a good delta, so he could possibly do it here. He's on the right line. This could be big. Kevin Woodward, though, not going to be able to do it. That's going to secure him 3rd spot. And there you have it, folks. Qualifying is, for the most part, complete. We have 1 lap finishing from James Leader, but he is looking like he's just done as well. So I believe that will be our qualifiers. Unless I'm missing something, I think we're all done here. So we'll take a look here. Matheus Noli, 209, 299. Andreas Specht, 209, 625. And Kevin Woodward just at 210. So first week on the race here, just getting the info here. Sounds like a surprising qualifier order, so we'll have to keep an eye on if they can hold on to these during the race. My name is Alex Valloni. I'm joining the league to help out with the rest of the Audi circuit here. So be here for the next couple of weeks to take us through weeks 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna have to keep an eye on things. Might as well watch James Leader here. And in the meantime, very loud sound there. My God. I'm not sure if that came through or not, but if it did, I apologize. Either way, we have some great racing ahead of us, especially if this is as surprising as Noble or Dan there is making it seem. We love an underdog here. And no doubt it's going to be great. Hopefully we get some good battles early on in the race here. And qualifiers officially have come to an end. So we can say with some confidence that Matheus Noli, Andreas Specht, Kevin Woodward, Jean-Luc Marchand, Tom Shirley. Those are your top 5 pole positions at the moment. And we will be going into an exciting race. Jean-Luc Marchand, not someone to count out. He held on to that P1. And Matheus Noli setting a very impressive time, 0.4 of a second. Pit strategy will no doubt be interesting. Mandatory pit stop on this race, or in this race. Competitor's going to have to choose when to take that. It's only about, I believe it's a fairly large pit window this evening, though, so they should have lots of options insofar as how they decide to do that. Yeah, so it looks like 1 minute after the race starts, closes with 3 minutes remaining. So with this race being 40 minutes, that is ample time to try and get yourself in the pit, and that's occasionally the make or break in these things. And we'll line ourselves up here and get everything checked out. Matheus Noli representing the Brazilian flag. Andreas Specht, Italy. Kevin Woodward, of course, Canada. Jean-Luc Marchand, Canada. As Canadian myself, always do love to see the Canadian flags. Jordan White, American flag. James Leader, also the American flag. Ray Sean Thompson, not sporting anything. Neither was Tom Shirley. Sorry, that was why I just skipped there. Carson Schultz with the American flag. Kevin Stacy, Pasha Patterson, Sergio with the Canadian flag. Brett Vaughn and Travis Brace. There you have your lineup in order, folks. That is our field, and of course, myself in the pit. So this will be what we go ahead with in this race this evening. And Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Be a day race today. I believe it was originally scheduled to be a night race, but I think things got changed last minute, so we get a day race. Check out the scenery. Good viewing. Weather is looking good. Track is looking good. Slight wind, but sunny blue skies today. Those are the situations, and we have 10 seconds. The race is about to begin. Matheus Noli in the P1 position will get the lead here. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The field is set, and the drivers are away. Excellent night of racing here ahead of us now, as just a lot, chaos going on here. Drivers facing every which way. Andreas Specht, my goodness, in the lead, and bit of chaos here again. Kevin Stacy on the side of the road. Brett Vaughn driving around in the grass. And as mentioned, it is Andreas Specht in that number 1 spot. Jean-Luc Marchand reclaims the second. And we will keep an eye on these top 3 competitors, as things will no doubt be close. And the pit window has opened, so theoretically one can pit as soon or as late as they want, depending on the strategy they decide to use. And Jordan White has gone off. He is in the grass as we start to recover here from the chaos that we saw at the start of the race, as the field is totally changed from what we saw just a few moments ago. We had Tom Shirley in the 5th position, now down at 10th. Sergio managed to move up a little bit. Jordan in the 14th position. Pasha Patterson up at 5th, along with Carson Schultz now in 4th. Sergio losing a position on that one. Let's keep an eye on these top 3 competitors as they aim to fight for their spots. So Kevin Woodward down in the 7th spot. Started off in 4th, looking to work his way up back into the lineup from that chaotic start. And that'll be a battle to watch for sure. Kevin Woodward, keep an eye on them. These first 3 positions starting to extend their gap a little bit. Andreas Specht has managed to get himself a nice little lead, while Matheus Noli is hot on the tracks of Jean-Luc Marchand. So we'll have to watch and see. Noli has the chance to go for any overtakes here. And see if I can pull out a replay as whoa, Matheus, don't looking like some changes happening here, unless I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Andreas Specht in 1st. I think everything is the way that it was moments ago. I think that was on my end, client side, because the order of everything here looks more or less the same. Kevin Woodward managing to get himself into the 5th position. Travis Brace's car looking a little banged up. A bit of a battle down here in the last 4 positions. We should be aboard here with Tom Shirley. There we are. Things are updating now. Might have been a temporary DC there, so I think everything's fixed itself, and I think we are officially good to go, as we're going to see overtake attempt here from Rayshawn Thompson. It's going to go, so that's going to move him up past Tom Shirley and into the 11th position. Let's go check in on Matheus Noli and Jean-Luc Marchand. Matheus Noli maintaining a very close gap, but as yet appearing unable to overtake or find an opportunity to try. Might have been a few opportunities there in that, possible temporary DC or whatever else might have happened in those few moments. But as it stands, everything more or less maintaining its flow for the moment. So we'll keep an eye on these two. Everything looking set. Rayshawn Thompson looking to move up once again. Hot on the tail now of Kevin Stacy. Tom Shirley passed by Jordan White. So Jordan moving himself up a position. And let's keep an eye here on Rayshawn Thompson and Jordan White. Jordan looking to move himself further into the top 10. Looking like he might go for a move in the next few moments here. He's at the outside at the moment, so he's just got to stay hot on Rayshawn Thompson's tail. He's going to have the chance here on the straightaway. Moving up, that's going to put, Rayshawn Thompson ahead of Kevin Stacy. Apologies on the call there. That was Rayshawn Thompson fighting Kevin Stacy. Rayshawn Thompson going to move himself into 10th place for the moment, but Kevin Stacy here is not far behind. Looks like he might have lost the movement there on that corner. And Rayshawn Thompson able to pull away a little bit. Check in on 2 and 3 as Matheus Noli still fighting for that second position. And unable to make any headway on Jean-Luc Marchand at the moment. Still maintaining about a 1 second gap between these two. Tom Shirley going to take his pit stop here. And Travis Brace losing out to Brett Vaughn on the corner there. Brett Vaughn now trying to maintain Brace and Thompson just behind him, but Vaughn still in the lead of this pack at the moment. See if he can maintain that. And in the straightaway, it's going to be Rayshawn Thompson moving up bit by bit, slowly from the 12th position to the 8th now. So very nice maneuvers here from Rayshawn Thompson that we've seen so far in this race. Now in 8th, as I said, managing to overtake Jordan White, Kevin Stacy, Travis Brace, Brett Vaughn, and move into the 8th position. So impressive showing here. Rayshawn Thompson. See if he can now catch up to James Leader. That is his next battle, but it's going to be a big one as he's got about a 9 second gap between himself and Leader. So we'll keep an eye on that gap, see if it goes down. In the meantime, it's Kevin Stacy looking to move past Jordan White here. We're on board with Jordan. That's a close call. Oh, into the wall goes Jordan White. Into the wall goes Travis Brace. Kevin Stacy sitting here now in the lawn. And Jordan White managing to get back onto the field. Big touch there. That is going to affect a few drivers. So we'll have to see what the overall fallout of that one is. Sergio and Kevin moving into the pit here. Travis Brace looks like he's hit with a DNF at the moment, so unfortunate there. Might have disconnected after that collision. Kevin Woodward is in the pit, as mentioned. Rayshawn Thompson now, after that little bit of chaos there, managed to move himself up into the 6th place. And as mentioned, just a nice performance from Rayshawn Thompson overall. Moving on up all day and night here. And we'll take a look and check in on Matheus Noli. Still chasing Jean-Luc Marchand. So, not an overly close battle thus far. It's been relatively about 1 second in between these two. And we'll have to see if we can do it. Let's check out in on Brett Vaughn here. Looking like he's just caught up to Rayshawn Thomas. So Brett Vaughn looking to take some positions back from Rayshawn Thompson. Pardon me, I think I said Thomas. I meant Thompson. And we'll see if he can find the maneuver. But Thompson pulling away here a little bit. So might be able to manage to maintain for now. And as these gaps, we've got Tom Shirley here actually as I say that. Tom Shirley looking to move up on to Jordan White. Both of these two I believe involved in that recent collision we just saw. So Tom Shirley is going to take or overtake onto Jordan White. So nice move. What I was going to mention there before all this happened, we'll stay on with these two. Andreas Specht has been able to maintain a very nice lead, but we'll see if he can keep that up. Got an 8-second advantage over the next competitor, Jean-Luc Marchand. And 2 battles going on here at the same time. Let's check out Matheus Noli for a moment. Managing to make some headway on to Jean-Luc Marchand. So we'll have to see if he can change that up as Jordan White's losing a bit of headway here. You can see in the gaps there. Mateus Noli going to have to look to make a move here. As we're through 12 minutes of racing now. And we've seen quite a little bit of chaos in these first 12 minutes. We'll see if that maintains. Looking like Tom Shirley has pulled away from Jordan White, so a little bit of breathing room there for Shirley. And it's Nolilau looking again to maintain this conviction, this close racing with Jean-Luc Marchand. Keep an eye on the rest of the field here. Brett Vaughn not too far behind Rayshawn Thompson, so not impossible that he might find his way into that 6th position at some point in this evening. Have to keep an eye on these two, though. Rayshawn Thompson has had some impressive driving tonight, so we'll give him the credit where credit is due. Mateus Noli now cutting down on Jean-Luc Marchand's lead once again. And he's got some opportunity to make it up in the straight here. You can see as he gets very close behind. This is probably the closest we've seen these two since the race has started. So let's see if Mateus Noli can keep it up. Very close on this corner. On the same line now, so Mateus Noli is going to have to respect Jean-Luc Marchand here. And takes a look, goes for the move, and these two are neck and neck, but it's Mateus Noli that's going to find temporary advantage only, and they're going to be driving side by side here. And these two are just married to one another at the moment, but it's Mateus Noli that's going to come out in front for the P2 position. So Noli finding his footing, finding the advantage, and taking it. So he will get the 2nd spot. And Jean-Luc Marchand will move down into 3rd. Meantime, Rayshawn Thompson has elected to take his pit stop, his mandatory pit stop, so he's going to drop down a few places as these two settle their feud. So Rayshawn Thompson now might have benefited from some earlier pitted drivers. We'll keep our eyes on him as he's exited now and has to make up a 7-second gap to his next opponent. So we'll stick with these two for the moment. Mateus Noli and Jean-Luc Marchand moving up a position as Andreas Speck takes his mandatory pit stop. These two, I don't believe, have taken theirs yet, so that will factor into their ultimate position. And that it will also factor into when they pit, because second one pits, the other gets to as well, but do you want to be the first one to take that move? Let's check in on Jordan White and Tom Shirley as these two begin to battle it out once again. Jordan White going to manage to overtake Tom Shirley here, so good maneuver from him. These two have been locked in a battle here for the past 10 minutes or so. And other than the 1st and 2nd positions, it's been our closest fight for the last little while, so fighting for 11 and 12 are these two. Jordan White currently in the lead, but it's a tight match. And, Tom Shirley not going to have enough room there. Didn't even get the chance to go side by side. They are right on each other's trail. Tom Shirley just looking for any opportunity he can get, trying to find those looks. And not going to be much opportunity going into this one. So they'll leave it for now. If these two make some room, we'll go take a look at Pasha Patterson and Brett Vaughn as they're making about the same gap at the moment. And as pointed out, Noli on hards, Jean-Luc Marchand on mediums. So can't discount that. As we look at Tom Shirley's perspective here. He's got the straightaway. He's going to go for the side-by-side, or maybe not. Just going to just cancel the choice there. Let's see what he can find now. Tom Shirley hot on Jordan White's trail. Not going to give him an inch. And not going to make the maneuver. Let's quickly check in on Pasha Patterson. As looking like these two might get a change going here. Brett Vaughn takes that one a bit wide. And it is Pasha Patterson that's going to get the position on to Brett Vaughn. So Pasha Patterson going to move into the 6th position now. And another slightly wide turn there from Brett Vaughn. Looks like he went off just a little bit. And Noli and Marchand are maintaining their positions for now, but as I said, they're going to have to find a window to pit. And Pasha Patterson pulling away from Brett Vaughn, so let's take a look at Tom Shirley as he continues to try and catch up to Jordan White. Also, like our first and second, this is a battle between mediums and hards, so we'll have to keep an eye on these guys as they try and move past one another. Tom Shirley holding the 11th spot until Jordan White found an in just moments earlier. Locked in a close battle. These two not afraid to go close with one another. Let's see them drive side by side here. I believe that's what we saw last time when White overtook Shirley. For the moment. Shirley taking a look. He's gonna try and go side by side. Not quite, actually. So, maintain for now. Looking like he wants it, though. He's ready to make the maneuver as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Going into this corner there, they're not going to find it, so we'll quickly check in with our race leader, Matheus Noli, maintaining now a 1.5 second gap on Jean-Luc Marchand. See if he can maintain that throughout the race, as these two had a very, very tight battle earlier on. And besides Tom Shirley and Jordan White, our closest battle in the race at the moment, as looking like Tom Shirley's making up some headway here. Saw also earlier in the race, this battle, we not this exact battle, but these two at least were involved in that pileup that led to Brace DNFing. So it's been a gritty battle, and we're going to have to keep an eye on them. And not quite going to be enough there for Tom Shirley to make the move, so he's going to stick with where he is. Let's go look now at our race leaders. Jean-Luc Marchand dropping a little bit. Tom Shirley still doing his best, but Jordan White seems to have the slightest advantage here in this one. Tom Shirley taking a look. Doesn't quite want to go side by side there. It's still a little bit dangerous here at this position on the track. Keeping very tight now. And not quite going to have enough there. Switch over to Jordan White's perspective on this one for a moment. She tries to keep this lead up. Be a tough one. These two are on an island, so they are battling with one another. And like Jordan might have taken that corner a bit wide, but not going to affect him too much. He's going to maintain that gap, 0.3. And Brett Vaughn has disconnected from the servers, so that's going to bump everyone up a position, at least those lower than him. So I can take a look. And Schultz dropped into the pit. So we'll go back to our battle here. Everyone should be bumping up. Tom Shirley now making things very close. You keep seeing these tight looks, but it never quite pans out for Tom. We'll stick with this race at the moment. Got Tom supporters, of course, in the chat. We'll see how well he can do. He had overtaken Jordan earlier on. Jordan managed to work his way back into the 11th spot. And despite his best efforts, though, Jordan White cannot shake Tom Shirley. Tom doing an excellent job keeping up the pace. We're going to go once again into our straightaway here. Tom Shirley gotten a couple close looks at this same position. This lap not going to be a similar storyline, as also keep our eyes on Kevin Woodward, who after Schultz's pit stop managed to make up some time, so that'll be a battle to watch here in a moment as Kevin Woodward gets his bearings and Schultz comes out of the pit. And take a look at this. Jean-Luc Marchand is taking his mandatory pit stop now, so he'll go into the pit. Matthias Noli will keep going. He's got another 12 minutes to do so and try and make some headway in the meantime. Here we are on board with Kevin Woodward, and slightly battered, but none the worse for wear, it seems, as he has managed to get himself into the fight for the 6th position. And Pasha Patterson going into the pit lane as well. So we'll keep an eye on them. Kevin Woodward had a bit of a banged up race to start things off. Started off in the 5th position. Managed to move his way up. Got involved in another collision. Fell back down. Now back up in the 6th position. Excuse me. Yes, 6th position as Pash Patterson has taken to the pits and looking to make it the 5th as he battles here with Carson Schultz. Canada versus America in this one. So see if Kevin Woodward can find the move that will get him into the top 5. As we're still looking for a couple pits here from some of our competitors. Woodward touched on the grass there a little bit, but come out none the worse for wear all the same. Just a brief update on the Shirley White matchup. Shirley falling back a little bit here, about a 1.5 gap in between them now, so race is cooled off for the moment. But we'll keep an eye on them and we'll see if we can find a prescient moment to come back and check out what those two are doing. Gotta take Team Canada here for this one. Kevin Woodward representing the home country. Carson Schultz, of course, from America. So see if the Canadians can get it done, prove ourselves on the racetrack. Might be a big moment here for the nation. All on Kevin Woodward's shoulders at the moment, as Jean-Luc Marchand has fallen out of the first or second position battle for the moment, but not going to necessarily be the end of the world. As we'll watch here as Kevin Woodward making a nice move here. Going to look, maybe go side by side, made up some time. Kevin Woodward might have it. Going to take the inside lane, and no, it's going to be Carson Schultz maintaining for the moment. Woodward very close on that last bit of the straightaway into the corner, but Carson Schultz had just enough to get it done. So, battle goes on. And see if anything can be made of it. Take a look at the rest of our field here for a moment. Mateus Noli sitting in P1, but going now into the pits, it looks like. So that will be Mateus Noli with his mandatory pit stop for the night. And push James Leader into that first spot. And the rest of the field maintain the same. Actually, James Leader might not get the first spot. We'll have to see here. Not sure what the gap is looking like. Ah, there we go. That should do it. Schultz maintaining his advantage for the moment. And Kevin Woodward doing his best. Windows cracked. Bumpers bent. But he's not giving up the fight just yet. Well, fifth position, of course, very coveted. There you get the take a look at the extent of some of the damages on that one. And Woodward looking for something here. This was where he had some advantage last time. Let's see if he can pull it away again this time, making up the time. But looking like Carson Schultz might just have enough to stay in the lead here going forward. Both these drivers driving on hard tires, so the field theoretically fairly even. And these ones are going to maintain. So Mateus Noli end up in the third position. And oh no, look at this. I cycled away just as Kevin Woodward managing to sneak ahead. And he is going to find himself in the fifth position. So a maneuver from Kevin Woodward. I apologize for missing that one, but he's done it. Moved himself into the fifth position. And Pasha Patterson down here moving into ninth. But Kevin Woodward won the battle for Team Canada, as it were. Now his next opponent would be Jean-Luc Marchand. Tom Shirley going to drop down a spot on that one as well. So James Leader now going to have to be going into his pit stop. And the field all of a sudden looking as it did a little bit earlier. So we've got Andreas Specht going to be taking P1 here in but a moment. Mateus Noli not far behind him. I mean, 5 seconds, but say that as you will. But even closer behind him, Jean-Luc Marchand. And all of a sudden it feels like deja vu. But not all over again, because that's redundant. So Leader going to fall down a little bit on his mandatory pit. Now we got Specht, Noli, Marchand. That is the same field that we saw earlier. Schultz and Woodward still fighting a little bit, but Woodward managing to push his advantage to a decent enough amount to feel at least a little bit comfortable for the moment. So we'll stay aboard with these top 3 competitors for a while, unless Schultz can make it interesting, as Woodward, though, looks like he is catching up to leader, so he might actually be able to push himself one more ahead. So we'll have to keep an eye on these 3 until Noli and Marchand can figure out if they're going to have enough time to try and catch up to Andreas Specht. Kevin Woodward now making excellent time. And we're not going to leave off him this time, as last time we did that proved fruitless, as he made the maneuver and got himself into the 5th position where you see him now. And he is now moving up on James Leader. Sandwich between the 2 Americans. Kevin Woodward looking to catch up with his national counterpart, Jean-Luc Marchand, currently sitting in the 3rd position. Himself trying to catch up to Matthias Noli. Himself trying to catch up to Andreas Specht. So a fairly tight field here. These drivers can make up some good times. See if they can continue on as they are. In an excellent point here. We have a couple of soft tires on the field here, 3rd and 4th place. Both rocking that composition at the moment, so we'll have to see if that proves a problem for them, as Kevin Woodward is chasing him with the hard tires. So we're not going to go away from this one for a moment, folks. This is where the action's currently happening. Deltas tell us that, the intervals, excuse me, tell us that Jean-Luc Marchand is falling a bit behind Matthias Noli at the moment. Kevin Woodward at least maintaining the same pace. Carson Schultz probably a little bit farther behind than he was a moment ago, but see what we can do here. Kevin Woodward also, keep in mind, running low on time. We're in the last 5 minutes here. So if he can't find a spot to overtake in these next couple of laps, then that may be it for his night. So gonna have to make a maneuver, and make a maneuver soon. Timing tells us there should be about 2 and a bit laps to go. So things are looking critical for anyone looking to move up a spot. Let's take a brief look at Jean-Luc Marchand. Let's see how he's looking. You can see Matthias Noli there in his vision, but these drivers pulling away from one another, and both fairly safe in front of James Leader for the moment. Pit window about to close in a minute time. I believe all of our drivers have made their mandatory pit stops, so we will presume that won't matter at the moment. We'll keep an eye on these battles. Matthias Noli now can actually be seen to be making up some good time on Andreas Specht. Just beat his lap time there, I believe, about a second. So this could be a battle to keep an eye on. Andreas Specht was quite a little bit out in front for a moment, but things are tight here in the top 5. 2 groups of 3. James Leader battling Kevin Woodward and Carson Schultz. Andreas Specht looking to fend off Matthias Noli and Jean-Luc Marchand. We've got 3 minutes left to do it. Whatever they can do in that time will be what they finish with. We'll determine the points. So this is, of course, cumulative. Take a brief look into Pasha Patterson battling Ray Sean Thompson for the 8th position. It's a bit of a gap there, and I want to keep an eye on these pole position. See if they can make up any time here. Pasha Patterson, though, really looking to make a push for that 8th position. Currently, best chance on the grid at the moment, I believe. Pit window is closed. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left to go here. Let's jump on board with Andreas Specht. Looking to maintain first place. That's the battle. Matthias Noli, not far behind him. And behind him, Jean-Luc Marchand. These are the top 3. Jean-Luc Marchand in the tough position at the moment. Farthest behind on the soft tires. We'll have to see if he can maintain here. So Andreas Specht should be going in for probably about his last lap of this race. Never know what's going to happen, but if you look at Matthias Noli, he's setting about a second faster on these lap times. So really, really pushing to catch up here with the leader. Kevin Woodward and Carson Schultz are, in fact, falling behind James Leader farther and farther as the evening pushes on. So, Leader might be able to feel comfortable here going into his last lap, maintaining his position. This is the one to watch, folks. Matthias Noli desperately trying to catch up with Andreas Specht, but it is a very tall order with but a minute to go in this race. And therefore, but a lap to go for these two competitors. Matthias Noli going to have to try and do whatever he can if he wishes to get the first position here. Or perhaps he goes for the safer bet. Takes fairly guaranteed second at this point, one might say. Be finishing in the points either way, but if you go for something riskier, you also risk losing out if you can't contain that which you open up. Andreas Specht now closing in on the final few turns of this race. Has managed to maintain a solid lap time. Managed to maintain pole position. And with that, should be able to maintain the first place here. But he will get one more lap in, so we're not quite done yet, actually. Oh no, that's pardon me. I think that actually will be that. We're getting used to this interface here, but if all things settle as they are, then we have more or less figured out who is doing what. James Leader going to be coming in fourth place. Kevin Woodward just behind him. An excellent race from Kevin Woodward. We saw some good battles from him. Took on Carson Schultz. Took on a lot of competitors after Carson Schultz. Very, very excellent finish there from Carson Schultz. What a way to go out if you're Schultz. Sergio will be our next competitor to come in. But yes, a nice race overall from Woodward. Excellent race overall from Specht. Going to maintain that first position. Sergio going to come in and finish 7th. Rayshawn Thompson. Saw some good battles from him tonight. 8th position for Rayshawn Thompson. Ding that car right up. Pasha Patterson in the 9th spot. It'll be James White finishing in the 10th spot. Tom Shirley bringing up the 11th. I said James White. I meant Jordan White. Tom Shirley bringing up the 11th. And Kevin Stacy finishing up on the 12th. Thank you, Valoni. Thank you very much for the kind words. It was great to be here. It was an exciting race. I'll have to keep working on the replay scene for next time. But overall, very enjoyable. Definitely looking forward to next week's race as we close things out here. Andreas Specht, first position. Matthias Noli in second. Jean-Luc Marchand in third. That is probably going to be it for tonight. I'm a little bit under the weather this evening, and I think I am going to call it there, but I do want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for Plebian and Dan for inviting me on to the race. And until next week, take care, stay safe, and we will see you very soon.
I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We